Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Kind of Hot, Kind of Healthy. I am Allie and I am here with my co host, Maddie.
Hi.
Say hi. So, we want to bring you guys into our life. Like, we are both nutrition and health coaches, and we want to show you guys a little bit of our lives, a little bit of the health, the wellness stuff. But this podcast is going to be really fun because Maddie and I both agreed when we came to this collaboration that we didn't want it to be boring. We wanted you to feel like you were sitting around the table with your girlfriends and just talking and about like juicy topics and like shit that you're going to learn, but it's going to be juicy and fun. Do you have anything to add to that, Maddie?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I mean, for myself, I rarely listen to health and fitness only podcasts. I mean, you can probably feel the same way about this. Like, we're just in that space so much. The last thing I want to do is like learn something new, like when I'm just kind of like listening to something to relax. So we really wanted to keep this like a super fun. We're talking about different stuff that like a lot of women our age, a little bit older, a little bit younger are going through, but then also insert like tidbits of health things you didn't think about or changing the way you thought about your body or how you treat it without it being like, here's a study from 1990, whatever, that's just super dry and boring, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not topical. Like we're not seeing that shit on TikTok. We want to talk about like the insane things that we've seen on TikTok and just like our own experience because I have been coaching women for a little over 4 years. And how long have you been doing this, Maddie? I forget.
Since December 2018.
Perfect. So like we both have tons of experience in different ways and we both have things that we want to share and help women learn. But we also know that like nobody wants to sit and like learn boring shit and like take notes and try to apply these things to your life. You want to hear real shit. You can walk away with stuff and you're like, oh, that actually makes sense, not just a podcast about how to calculate your macros that you're going to forget once you turn it off. Like that is not what we want to do. We want to stay in your brain. We want to make sure that this is a fun experience for you too. And you
Yeah,
can
and I
walk away
think
learning something.
right, right. And I think even for myself right now, something that I've been noticing and pushing myself to do was like make more girlfriends and been going through that challenging time of like, well, I don't really have any friends. I have like a couple. And something that, I think we both struggle with is just like being out there and talking to people. And I think that's a lot of the stuff, we're going to be hitting on and how we do that as health and fitness people. And how it relates to our life and how we stay healthy and go out and do fun things.
Right. Because especially both working from home, like what is a hobby? Like
Cleaning my house.
literally. And so part of when we were talking about creating this, we had listed episodes where we're like, oh my God, we need to talk about this topic, which you will see. Because we were struggling with it. And if we're struggling with something as like the experts, the professionals, then we need to talk about it and give solutions or just even normalize some of these topics because part of the problem I think is like the experts all too many times don't normalize the shit that like we're all going through and that like our clients or followers or friends are experiencing as well.
Yeah, and there are so many things that I think, especially coming from being health coaches, that our clients are going through, that you guys are going through too, but just don't know who to turn to, what to ask, or like how to identify and help the process that you're in. So we're going to be sharing that stuff as well. So it gives you guys more access to like how we help our clients, and you guys can use that to apply it to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Do you want to just dive in? Because today's topic is really juicy and kind of fun. And I think it's amazing. And we picked it for the first episode because of all of these things. So do you want to dive into it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you want me to go or do you go?
Yeah, you go. You go, girl.
So I don't know if it was me or you, but if we both agreed about this. Um, when it comes to being a health coach, fitness coach, whatever you want to call us, a part of your brand tends to be your body. And it's something that God, I can't remember when I heard this. Probably, actually, I know exactly who I heard it from. I've seen it on social media before. It was a boss way back when at a gym, and he said like, "No one trusts a fat trainer." And I remember hearing this, and impressionable young me, I was like, "Oh yeah, no one does trust a fat trainer." And this is like, I've been through body image stuff. I mean, we'll be talking about this, and for people that are listening and know me already, I've talked about this in social media a lot, but I totally thought that was like a regular thing and no one's going to trust me if I don't look like I'm in shape. And to a point, I believe that is still very true for a lot of people. But I have struggled with, I don't know what part you want to start in this, but um, different parts of my journey, whether it's my health, like working on my health, or where I was on purpose gaining weight to build more muscle, where the comments that I would receive when talking about fat loss or talking about whatever it was were like volatile.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're at 30% body fat, and they were mostly like dudes, probably like 12-year-olds, like, let's be honest. But it's
Just
a
fucking
real
trolling.
I know. It's a real thing where even if no matter how much I tell myself it's not my brand, I still fall victim to it, like wanting
Yeah.
to look my best, be my best, so people take me more serious.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And that kind of phrasing, like no one would trust a fat trainer, is something I heard one time from a client as well, where they were like, my body is my brand. So I need to look on point 24/7. And the reality is, we're not going to look our leanest or our best. If that's what you think your best is, we're not going to look that way 24/7 every single day of the year, because that's just not realistic. However,
Mhm.
it is so easy to fall into that mindset, and it's so easy to want to lean into that, especially if you are a woman who is a coach and you coach other women how to lose fat in a sustainable way. We're not talking about like 1,200 calorie diets. Like, that's not what we're about. If that's what you think we're about, get out of here. We do shit in a way that's actually going to help our clients. We're teaching them how to lift weight. We're teaching them why eating more is good. And all these things. And so if you're not in your prime, it's really easy to get into this imposter mindset of like, who am I to be coaching these women when I am not at my prime? And so when you experience those comments, like how did you kind of navigate that? Because I have my own story around this feeling, but I wasn't being like out in the public. Like, I felt very much like I'm going to hide from this, and we'll touch upon that in a minute. But what did
Mhm.
what was going through your mind with those comments? Because we know there's always going to be like internet trolls, and when we step back from it, it's easy to be like, oh, the trolls. But in the moment, it feels fucking like a gut punch.
Mhm. Um, those comments to when I was heavier on purpose didn't bug me as much because like I knew what was happening at the end of the day. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna lean out anyway. I'm gonna have more muscle mass. And I'm gonna be, I hate to say this, like happier in a stronger, more muscle toned body than I was before. Maybe not
Yeah.
happier, but a little bit, right? To an extent, because I wanted to do that. But when I get comments that tell me, like when I had a recent one go viral on Facebook, I don't know, not, I don't, whatever viral is perspective or, depends, whatever. Anything could be viral if you had one
Give me
view and
yeah.
like 100.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of comments, and a lot of them, it was about like women having muscle. That was the premise of the Facebook video. And the amount of comments I got about like what muscles, like have you seen a muscle before? Like there was one girl, and it was such a gut punch. It was like, keep going, girly. Everyone has to start from somewhere. And I was like, good.
Oh,
I
you're
was
like,
like,
girl,
I'm
this is not my
listening.
starting point.
I know. I was like, I showed my husband, and he was like, "Oh, that's a rough one." Like she
Oh
meant,
my God.
like, I'm sure she was just being super nice. Like that's nice to say, but like I wouldn't comment on that in someone because you don't know where their starting point is.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Oh,
my response to things are a lot different. Like with the guys who were commenting things saying I'm fat, pretty much like, whatever. like the people that were saying like I didn't have enough muscle, like that kind of hurts because like I mean I try really hard to have a lot of muscle. It just doesn't work. Like it takes a lot for my body to change. So for those, I'm just like, I kind of let them be. It doesn't really bug me. Maybe I'll comment back purely just to boost my video in the algorithm
Yeah.
because like what else? I'll just be like peace or something stupid. I don't care. But they hurt a little bit just because like I'm working towards that and I wanted that and will identify that I don't have that. Not gonna lie, it hurts a little bit, but I try not to take it too much to heart.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for people that don't put themselves out there to actually understand like that their comments, their words hold weight because they're just like
Hmm.
commenting and then they go about their day.
Hmm.
And it's just so crazy because when did we have this kind of moment where it's like, oh, I could just say whatever the fuck I want on someone's video and it doesn't matter. And you're over here like, I am a person and that hurt. And
Hmm.
even though you're confident and you try not to let it get to you, it's like you are still a person. You are
Hmm.
still working towards goals. And that's when it becomes a place of like, oh, fuck, I'm a coach. And like, maybe people don't see me as being enough. And
Hmm.
if you let yourself go down that way of thinking, it gets really hard to come back from. So I feel you. I kind of like to like troll with the comments sometimes or just like kill them with kindness because I'm like, if
Hmm.
I take this too seriously, that's it. Like I'm not going to want to
Yeah.
show up.
And it's
So
just sad people, I think. Like
yeah.
they're, people were projecting and also just like, do you really have nothing going on in your life? You have to like, I feel bad for you. You must have a boring ass life.
It's just
Like,
scrolling on Facebook
yeah,
Reels.
and commenting shit, like you must have literally nothing going on. I feel bad for you.
Perspective. It's like
Yes.
I am not the problem. My body is not the problem. You're the fucking problem. No, it's really hard and I think it's part of being in the online space. Like we do have to put ourselves out there and that is why I think it's really hard for us to not always want to be looking perfect. And like you said,
Hmm.
there are times as coaches where we have our clients intentionally put on weight and there's a reason for that. But it still can feel really hard when like the outside world doesn't understand it or
Hmm.
I read a comment one time and I was just like, oh my god, that hurt, but it was like, I thought you were a fat loss coach, like you look fat. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like,
Oh.
I need to like just kind of like delete the comment because I'm going to go back and keep hyper fixating on it. And that was a
Oh.
point in my life where I did like gain 30 pounds because we're going to touch upon this in a deeper episode, but it was like 2019 and I was diagnosed with a panic disorder. And so like I rapidly lost weight because like food was hard to eat. I got put on medication. I had a bad experience working with somebody. And like literally in probably like 4 or 5 months, the scale just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And I was like, how am I supposed to go out there and be an example? And I'm not saying that gaining weight is bad. If that is what you want to do, that's your prerogative. That was not what I was trying to do. My body was in a place of just stress and there was no plan, there was no protocol. This shit was insane. And as a coach, I was like mortified because I was like, how am I supposed to show up and make content? How am I supposed to show up and like do fun pictures or like do reels because I feel
Mhm.
so uncomfortable. And I
Mhm.
feel even like my business suffered for that because I was just like, I am so in my head about not being perfect that I'm not showing up how my clients need me to show up or that my audience needs, like what people need to see, like that real shit.
Mhm.
And it was like a mind fuck. And so when we are saying like you do not need to look your best all the time because that is not the goal and like that's a lot of pressure on yourself. We get it
Mhm.
because we've been in positions where we either intentionally or unintentionally haven't been at our best meaning like what I guess society thinks is
Relative.
your best relative. Yeah. But I think it was also as a coach, like, do you feel like those moments made you grow into like the person you are today? Like it kind of forced you to love yourself at every moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think those phases come with like learnings and,
Yeah.
like there are amount of times when I would post when I was like heavier, obviously, and people would be like, "Oh, like seeing your videos just like I like seeing more normal bodies." And like it's like a two sides of the coin there.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome that you're seeing more normal bodies. On the other side of the coin, I'm like, I don't want to look like this right now, but I'm
Right.
here. I have to be here. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be I personally didn't want to be that example of being like I was not my best, and
Yeah.
I didn't want that to be my image. And it's so hard because then like, you know, the crappy part about like progress photos. I mean, I know there's a really good account. Gosh, why am I forgetting her name? So He Fit. She's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone knows her. She's amazing. If you don't follow her, definitely follow her. She's a more on the body neutrality side, like
Yep.
where not praising for just losing weight, not praising for gaining, just keeping it like your body's just your body, not good or bad. And I like that to an extent. But I have probably not seen her post a side by side progress photo herself, her clients, and maybe she has another page where it's like her team's progress photos. I have no idea. I probably haven't seen her post one of those in years, most likely. And I'm like, that's a good thing. But then also, like, how do and we both do this, how do we get more clients? How do we show social proof to people that we know what we're doing? We use our photos, we use our
Right.
clients' photos. We ask if we can. We always
Right.
ask for consent first. We're not just posting everyone's bikini photos. But we do that and it helps bring in more clients. It helps people understand we know what we're doing. So it's like where I try not to fall victim to just showing my body for the purpose of my business and thriving off of that. It is part of it. So I don't know if that was the
Yeah.
question you were asking,
No,
but
but I like going down that road because I remember a mentor had said one time, like, when we're showing pictures and we're not providing context, like we're kind of leading into like just like diet culture.
mhm,
And I think that's can be true to a point, but I also know and I express that the work that I'm doing with my clients, I'm always going to preface this didn't happen in 6 months. This didn't happen overnight.
mhm,
This didn't happen by cutting crazy calories. This didn't happen by doing X amount of cardio because our clients, our prospective clients, they are more inspired, I believe, by our clients doing the work because they're like, oh, they're real everyday people too. When they
mhm,
see our photos, when we're looking our best or when we're not, whatever, they probably are like, oh, yeah, it's intentional. Like it's always intentional because you know what you're doing. I think
mhm,
it's less inspiring, less motivating for them because they're like, you're a coach, you're the professional, you know what you're doing, but you
mhm,
can help random old Sarah Jane do this. Look at hers. I want what she's doing. And so I do like to show those pictures and provide context because I'm
mhm,
all about that transparency. And I don't want to ever give the impression that, like, oh, you work with me in 90 days, you'll drop X amount of weight. It's like,
mm,
no,
I know.
because I don't know that. I can't say for fact.
Mhm,
But what I can show you is like amazing progress, not only physically, but like mentally from
mhm,
clients around, how they're viewing their relationship with food or their confidence in the gym. And so part of the idea going back to like, no one would hire a fat trainer or my body is my brand. Not really, because we want to put our clients out there and showcase them and show the hard work that like we are actually capable of teaching these normal people how to achieve their goals and how to really take care of their body in a way that they probably weren't doing before. And that's more of my brand.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And some like two parts to this, like some of the best client transformations I've had, they've been with me for 2+ years.
Yeah.
I mean, and I always provide like dates and show like this is how long we've been working together. When I talk to potential new clients, I'm like, I know you've seen my client transformation photos. They are 6+ months, a year, 2 years. Like this is something we're gonna have to work at for a long time. So I think putting it, in the frame of things makes it a lot easier to understand of what we
Mm-hmm.
are about, and we're not about fast transformations. And if you look at any of those like 75-day hard or any like crap programs like Beachbody and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
would love to see the after photo. Show me the after photo 3 months, 6 months, a
Yes. Oh, I
year
love that.
after they finish their quick little challenge. Please show me that and show me where that person is, because I guarantee you they are worse than the first photo, because they didn't work on the mindset. They didn't use long-term sustainable strategies. They just use fast, quick shit to get that result, to get that picture, because you're just a number to those people.
Yeah.
Uh, that's how I think, the differs us between them. And the other side of it, where was I going with this? Oh, I think being in the public eye so much and having to feel like, to a certain degree, like we're talking about, like we have to show up, in a form of our best self, is that people forget we're human and that we can't have things happen to us, i.e., you having the panic disorder, having
Mm-hmm.
that happen. For me, it was my autoimmune disease before I started my business. Now, if that was happening during my business probably would have burned to the ground because I was a complete mess. But even your previous mentor, my mentor Lacey, like she has had a lot of stuff happen in her life, still continues to show up. I mean, one
Mm-hmm.
of my previous mentors, she had a big family thing happen, and she looked different, and we talked about it, and she was just hard for me to show up. That didn't She was still an amazing coach, like one of the best coaches I ever had. So it didn't change her body shape, her weight, her mental health to an extent. It didn't impact the quality of how she coached me because she had an extra 5 pounds.
Right.
So it's not that a quote unquote fatter coach can't coach you any better. I mean, they're still human. They're going through things. It's not like because they're maybe coping with food or has so much stress their body's holding on to weight that they're gonna make my body hold on to weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And I used that logic a lot for myself because I had a hard time believing that I was still a really good coach. And when I would get in those moments, I would say, my life does not actually impact my client's life to a point, right? Like if I'm really pissy and I'm showing up and I'm being a bad coach, like that would obviously impact their life. But the shit
Mhm.
that I'm dealing with, if I can kind of compartmentalize that and put it over here, and when I put on my coaching hat, I am the same Allie. It doesn't matter what I look like. They don't care about that. They do not care
Mhm.
about that at all.
Mhm.
And that is a really humbling thing because we just get to show up and be like, yeah, I'm going through shit and I'm working on myself, but I still get to be here and to support you. And
Mhm.
you're not judging me. And that makes me want to support you 10 times more as a coach because you see me for like the person that I am. I'm a
Mhm.
supporter. I'm helping you through this journey. We're doing this together. And even with some of my clients, had some of my clients with me for 4 years, and we just talk about like we'll get on Zoom and we're just talking about like the real shit. I'm like I get to have such a personal level with you because of the brand that I have built, because I am honest, because I allow you to be honest. And you don't care again if I have a couple extra pounds on me, you're not like, "Ooh, I better fire her. Like she
Mhm.
sucks." And so I think that also gets to be kind of the amazing part of like coaching women is getting to build those really authentic relationships and just getting to help someone go through their own personal journey while you may be going through your personal journey, and like drawing parallels to each other and really just being like, hey, just because I wear the coaching hat and I know a lot about this field and what I'm coaching you in, I'm still a human, and I'm still going
Mhm.
to have days where the advice that I tell you, I'm going to follow that and just try
Yep.
and like simply show up. And I think
Yeah.
that that's something like really important to remember when and if we get into our heads about like, oh shit, I feel pressure to look a certain way because I am a coach, or because all these, fitness influencers look a certain way. I have to look like
Mhm.
that. And it's like, says who? Like, we're just putting that pressure on ourselves.
Do you think you ever found yourself, I know I did, guilty, I'm gonna say that flat out, but maybe when you were younger and thinking about, I mean, maybe before I even realized there were like coaches like us out there, when you saw like the Instagram model type of fitness influencers, when you saw those, did those ones pull you in more to maybe want to work with them or figure out what they did or get their workout routine or things like that? Because basically based on their body.
I think back in the day, yes. Like
Mhm,
when Instagram was new and it was really easy for people to just like get a lot of likes, right? Right. Like their
mhm,
Instagram was newer. It was all photos. It was like really simple to use. Like there was not a lot going on. I do think I was more easily convinced. I never hopped on like one-on-one with a coach, but I
mhm.
would buy their like $30 ab programs or like their booty builder programs. And I remember being like 15, 16, 17, something like that, and just like doing these workouts and being like, why is nothing changing? What is happening? I've been doing and I would do sometimes like the little ab circuits like 3 times a day.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what is happening? Why is nothing changing? And even like prior to Instagram, like 17 magazine used to have like their workouts in the magazine. Like, oh, girl,
God.
I had that subscription. It was coming once a month. I would rip out the workouts, put them on my wall. And I would be like, if I do this, I will look like her and I will feel more confident. And that makes me sad for little Allie. But that also brought me to a place where I got to learn kind of at a young age that if you do these workouts, you're not going to necessarily look like the model, and that's
Mhm,
okay.
mhm,
But if you do want to see transformation, let's actually learn how to do it. And that's what kind of like inspired me to want to go to school for nutritional sciences and wanting to get into weightlifting and wanting to go down this career path. So, yeah, definitely highly influenced by pictures on Instagram or YouTube videos. I remember this one, I think it was Blogilates. She had a exercise video about like how to grow your boobs. And I was like,
What?
yeah, it was like a chest exercise, but it was like I literally remember Googling like how to exercises to like grow your boobs, and like a video of hers came up. And because I was like so flat, I was like, this is not happening, girl. And me, my sister, and my friend would like do them. And it's like
What were the workouts though? Just chest stuff?
it was, yeah, like prayer hands, and then like just like she was always like talking about like raising things up. And I was just like,
Was it a cult?
low-key, low-key, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I guess it's gonna work over time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you ever fell into those traps? Because damn, I now that just opened up like a rabbit hole
Oh.
in my brain of like, oh yeah, anything that I saw where it was like, ooh, they have a good body, I'll try it.
Yeah, for sure. And probably a couple years ago, I did a social media cleanse where I took out, I probably need to redo this, took out, stopped following everyone who was making me feel bad about my
Oh, I
body.
love that.
Because if you get into like the weeds of fitness people, like the more popular ones, it's almost like the more popular they are, like the better of a body they have because they have a high audience because of that, because they look
Yeah.
super good, you
And
know?
I think the correlation is so there. Like they have, and I'm not saying, I mean, I'm not going to call anyone out specifically because I can't think of any on the top of my head, but it's
Mhm,
like they looked really good.
mhm,
People were like, what are you doing?
mhm.
More followers. Then they put out programs, and it was like, some of these people aren't actually qualified.
Oh, that's a whole
They
other
just,
topic.
yeah, that's another topic, but they just look good. And like,
Right.
that's hard. So I love the idea. I'm gonna go through my following and do a little cleanse because that is just it's always needed. Like I love that.
Right, right. And for sure, I, saw them and I'm just like, oh yeah, like I really want to do, her thing. And even I saw this one girl just recently and I was just looking for like trending audios and she was like the very muscle mommy-esque, very jacked. And then it was like, I'm 80% full with spots. I'm like, damn, like one, that's, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But then also like I felt even in that moment being where I am now, I'm like, oh wow, like if you want to get jacked, you're going to go to her because she's really, really strong looking. And that's awesome. Like if she's, I've known nothing about this person. I don't even remember the name, gone out of my head. It was just kind of flipping through Instagram. Um, but that even enticed me. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like, and this is another topic for another day because I know we're going to talk about it. But even the coaches that I have now, like I didn't pick them based on their body, not at all. I
Mm-mm.
picked them based on their experience, what they have what they have done for their clients, and like I
Mhm.
related to them a shit ton. Like I saw myself in them. And I don't want to spoil this for another topic for another day, but it wasn't based on their body by any means.
No, no, and I think we have the privilege to be surrounded by really amazing coaches, and we also in a way already got a little bit of like the shiny object syndrome out of our head. Like we
Hmm.
have got it through our system. It's like, I know that if I pick somebody just because they look a certain way, doesn't mean I'm going to get the results that I wanted to. I
Hmm.
literally hired my current coach when she was pregnant. So like my intention was not I want what she has. It was just like I trust her. I
Hmm.
know the type of person she is. I see how she treats clients, friends, etc. And I was like, I want that. And
Hmm.
so as coaches, it's a good reminder because we know that we're not going to pick somebody just based off their body. And it doesn't mean that all of, the potential clients out there would even pick us based on what we look like, but more what what does our brand represent? Who are we? What is important to us? What are we talking about? What are our values? And that's really what it should be. Because again, everybody's going to be going through crazy shit in their lives, but it doesn't mean that they're not qualified to be able to help you get that transformation. Like all
Hmm.
this knowledge up here, it does
Doesn't
not,
go away.
yeah, it ain't going nowhere no matter what your
Yeah.
body, goes through. So I love the idea of just like thinking about who we've hired and why, because it has nothing to do with anything physical. It has to do with everything that they have an experience and just their relationships with people and like their kindness. And it's like, that's the vibe we should all try and follow because a random fitness influencer with like millions of followers probably doesn't give a shit about you.
Oh, and two things with that. With the word that you're basically all the things you're describing, the coaches that we've hired, role models. That's exactly
Yeah.
who I've hired as a role model who has done the tough stuff that I maybe have started to do, or they've went through crazy things while growing a business, while taking caring of their body, while keeping things afloat while it's like freaking chaos, right?
Yeah.
They've done those things, and I'm like, I want to learn how to do those things because I guarantee you, the popular influencers, their life is very different from our lives for sure, from Susie Joe for
Hmm.
sure. How are they going to be able to relate to you? How are
Right.
they going to be able to tell you, get you through grief, or not saying that we can, but like we can definitely help you navigate those situations, give you people who can help you navigate better, create teams like that. But how are they equipped to help you through tough situations, because their life is totally different? They probably never had anything bad, traumatic happen to the extent that you've had happen. I
Yeah.
mean, I always relate to, I could not get off a chair my 21st birthday. I could not walk. I had to take off from school because I literally could not walk. You know how easy it is for me to relate to the older women that I've got to work with, who, one lady was clinging onto the walls when I was doing more in-person training. I met her
Yeah.
clinging onto the walls to meet me at the front door. Who better to relate to her than someone that couldn't walk at 21?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just like, I look at that, like, I don't want to work with the bimbo who wears the perfect matching outfit every single day, and just lives on TikTok. Like, I doubt you've been through some tough shit. You don't understand.
Yeah. No, you are calling in people that lives you really want to transform. And like, not just in like, let's lose some weight, but like being able to walk without assistance. What would you pay for that? Like
Right, right.
that's
Well,
it's
pause real quick. Not to say that's my ideal client.
no, for sure. But
I'm just, good.
I was just, it's such a powerful image that your ideal client is thinking like, oh shit, like I want to get stronger. I'm not feeling my best self. And to hear that
Hmm.
she's helped somebody
Hmm.
through that, it's like, she obviously cares. She
Hmm.
obviously is not going to judge me if shit comes up for me.
Yes,
And that's a
yes.
really big part, because I think a lot of clients, potential clients, they're afraid we're going to judge them, when
Yeah.
that's the complete opposite, because we have our own stories, we have our own experiences, and it all goes back to, just because I may look like I'm in the best shape of my life, it doesn't mean that I still haven't experienced some shit and that I can help you with it. Like,
Hmm.
it's all quite complex. It's not just a picture on fucking Instagram. You can't go by that.
Yeah. And, when I know the stuff that I've been through, that's who I gravitate to, that I want to work with, like, for my own coach. Like,
Yeah.
my mentor for my autoimmune disease, she has been through hell and back with her autoimmune diseases. My mentor of her business, like, we both know, she has been through hell and back, done crazy things with her business, for her business, in her life. My first nutrition coach and business coach, she just, we related very much on how we are, like, and we're empaths and we want to connect with people, and you relate that way. I relate to people much more than just how they look and the perfect lighting and the perfect, whatever. And I had, in just random story, I had someone in my DMs literally yesterday, a couple days ago, and I sent you the screenshot, by the way, if you
No, yeah,
remember what
yeah.
I'm talking about. It was just very, like, she really wanted help, and what wanted to talk right away. And something that me and Allie both work on a lot, try to attempt to, is having better boundaries with our business and not working like workaholics. And I was like, hey, like, I don't take calls on Facebook. Here's my link. We can set up a call. And she really sounded like she needed help. And then I didn't hear from her, didn't see a call, anything. And I checked in on her, and she was like, I don't need a marketing call. I need someone who actually cares. And I was like, ouch, like, I really care about my clients. Like, you don't know me. Like, you don't know anything about me. And you're assuming I don't care about the woman that I work with. Like, I've cried with clients on calls. Like, when people tell me, they don't want to work with me, like, I take it, or they can't because financial reasons, I take it of I don't like you, not
Yep.
that, like, and we work on detaching that. But even for people that don't know us yet, she knows nothing about me, already assuming I don't care. Like, I care too much, so
Yeah,
it's just
that's actually the
like,
problem, ma'am. I
yes.
care way too fucking much. And because I have a boundary, I'm not going to just call you on Facebook, because
Yes,
that's a weird, like,
I don't give people my personal number, because boundaries. I have
boundary.
clients that are my friends, and if something happened, I would be there for them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they have my number, but everyone else does not, because boundaries.
Boundaries. No,
And it
it's
was just, and then I was like, I really do care, and like, I happen to have a message from a client and that just sent me something like that, which is so heartfelt. And I was like, can I share something with you? I'm like, I got this message today. You don't know me. I really care about my clients. I'm not going to get on the call and just try to sell you. I want to hear what the heck's going on. And if I can help you, I'll try. If not, then I'll send you to someone who can. And
Right.
she was like, okay. And I sent her the link again. And then she's like, okay, never mind. Thanks anyway. I'm like, what? It's just crazy how people are like that. But that whole situation, who knows what. But yeah, we care so much. We care so much. And, that's how I relate to people I've worked with and why I choose to work with them based on all those things. And I'll bring it back to not solely based on how they look, because their business, my business, your business is so far beyond just how we look.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was only based on how we look and exactly having the perfect hair, perfect everything, I mean, I've shown up on social media looking like a troll.
But dude, shit would be way easier.
Or way harder.
Or wait, well, I think if all that mattered was looking a certain way, and like you didn't have to do much else, you didn't have to come up with
Yeah.
content creation, you didn't have to give a shit, you didn't have to actually know things. I would like you could just dedicate all of your time to just presenting a pretty picture.
Mhm.
But like what substance is there? It's like, okay,
None.
now that I'm in, how can you help me? And it's like, you're doing amazing, girl. Like,
Here's your
fuck.
daily affirmation.
Yeah, like, oh my God. I remember the Brittany Dawn, is that her
Oh
name?
God, I just
She
saw
like,
she's coming back with a vengeance.
oh, she is insane. I remember seeing like when the story broke, like she would have like thousands of people she was working with, and the responses were like, you're doing great, girl. Good job. Amazing. And it's like, run. If you ever get a response like that, just because somebody is marketing themselves a certain way and they have all these people signing up for their program and they look a certain way, you should not blindly trust them on that. And that's like kind of what this whole conversation is about, because we have been through insane moments of our lives and we have looked our best, maybe not our best, mentally our best, maybe not our best, but we've still showed up for our clients and we've delivered what we promised. We were there. We showed up because we care. That's the difference. Some people are in it for like a quick cash grab. And if you ever get those like, good job, girl messages, that like, no, that's
Mhm.
insane. You're paying for a service. You're not paying to just like have a message copy and pasted.
Right. You could sign up for like, I don't know, a daily affirmation text
Yeah,
every day. It would be
literally.
cheaper or
Yeah.
free. Yeah.
Dude, that story was really shocking, I think, for a lot of people not in the industry. But I think when I heard that, I was like, I'm literally not surprised, because
Yeah.
how can you can't possibly serve that many people and show up in your best energy and caring and supportive and bringing the knowledge. Like you can't. And that goes back to like,
No.
we're people too. Like think about your day job and think about like what you have the bandwidth to do. There's only so much. And so
Mhm.
the same goes for like people in our industry. Like
Mhm.
there's only so much. And we're going it like this could be a whole nother topic here. I think we had a topic
Yeah.
of like red flags.
Oh yeah, red flags. We'll definitely
Yeah,
talk about that.
it's
But
so good. All
but I think
right.
if you're well, just gonna again
No,
bring
no,
it
no,
back.
no, no. You go. Yeah.
Um, if you are trying to figure out who you want to work with, if that's something you're even thinking about, not you, but people that are listening, don't base it off just, how they look on their best day. Like, do they have substance? Do they, are they more than that? I mean, odds are, hopefully, if you're following the right people, they are. But, it's easy to fall in that trap of just wanting to look like someone, and wanting to, that's the workout program I want because she has an amazing butt or her abs look so good. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not to say it doesn't mean they have abs or her butt looks good, that her product's not good, but like do some investigating, see what you're getting into because there's more to people than just that.
100%. And it's also a really great reminder that if you have worked with a coach before, or if you've never worked with a coach before, there is so much more important things than just the exercise plan.
Mhm.
You are smart people. You could go on Google, you could Google exercise plan for 4 weeks and you could find something. That is not the most important thing that we do. It
Mhm.
goes way, way deeper. And so if we're just basing our opinions off of what somebody looks like and their exercise plan, we're kind of missing, what did they say? You're missing
The
the
human
forest for the
connection?
trees. Well, I was
Okay.
going with like my analogy. And I always
Oh.
am like, am I going to say it wrong? But missing the forest for the trees.
Okay. I never
Is that
heard
what
that
they say?
before.
Never.
Oh.
I think it's like you're focusing on like this like a small thing and you're missing like the whole big aspect of it.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm saying that wrong, which I very well could be, let me know. But I'm like
Sound off in the comments.
embarrassingly the queen of like saying the things wrong. But I like just I'm like, oh, whatever.
Same.
Like it makes sense in my head. But
But that makes sense. I mean, how many times I know we're like going down new tangents every 5 seconds, but I can't tell you the number of times I've said to a new client, I'm like, we could do everything on paper to lose weight,
yep.
eat the right amount of calories, eat the right macros, do the right workout plan. And at the end of the day, your body might be like, not
No.
losing weight yet, because you have years of trauma on your body of dieting too much, eating too little, over exercising. That shit does not get erased in the first 5 weeks of working together.
No.
Takes months. That takes
Hmm.
years sometimes. So it's, another thing, it's just like I was saying, like there's so much more. Like you said, you could look up on freaking chat GP blah, whatever it is. GP, what is it?
GPT, chat
Oh,
GPT. Yeah.
chat GP.
PT.
You know what I mean. That thing. You can look up a fitness plan for 3 days a week, whatever. I bet you it would gurgle it out.
Yep.
But that might not be the right plan for you based on your history, based on, what's going on in your life, based on your mental state, and like that, those things can't, that's the connection you need. Someone that understands that.
Yeah. 100%. So the takeaway is like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a fitness coach by how they look, because that is the most unimportant thing.
Hmm.
Like it goes way deeper than that. And from two people that have experienced the good and the bad things when it comes to like our health and navigating it, I would
Hmm.
not want to be judged on my quote unquote my worst days. I want to be
Hmm.
judged on all of the things that I'm doing and the clients that I'm helping and the things I'm putting out there. So just like use your big girl brain and don't just sign up for someone that has a good ass and some abs.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Do you want to plug your socials? We're going to put our Instagrams in the show notes, but if you want to tell people where to find you, and we're going to do a little Q&A section as the podcast grows and as more of you listeners are here. So keep an eye out for that. But Maddie, where can they find you on social?
Pretty much everywhere at Maddie, MADDY dot nourish and lift.
Fabulous. And I am Allie Larrabee coaching on basically everything, and we'll put it in the show notes. And is there any parting thoughts you want to leave with them, Maddie?
You just touched on it a second ago, but we really want to have like a Q&A section where we are answering questions about like anything and everything. If you're like, I have best friend drama, like that's something I have been well acquainted with, unfortunately. Not anymore. But even about like health, and we want that to be, a big part of the show at the end to help you guys, give you some like third party help as fitness coaches and just as girls in their, 20s.
Yeah.
That's kind of our plan with that. So I screwed up the whole email thing, don't ask. But you can just send us your questions at my Instagram or Allie's, and we're excited to kind of jump into that in the, next coming episodes.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.